Dean, we have so many brand new updates coming out on the platform, and for our services that we offer, our website is lacking on what it is going through and telling. But if anybody is interested in growing their business, these updates are going to be absolutely huge for them to be able to do it. Not just updates on our system, but how marketing is working has changed. You have that new AI mode coming out for Google. You have the AI overview. Website traffic is down, and everybody is currently looking to be able to see how they could grow. So I want to talk about our updates. I want you to kind of put that small business brain on, and I'm going to go through. I'm going to talk about each of our updates that we have one by one, all the way through. And I want your questions at the end or any inputs that you have as a small business owner is kind of how I want to do today's talk.
So you
Does
want
that
me
work for
to
you?
you want me to talk about or ask you questions, interrupt you as you're going? Make
Yep.
sure we clarify things. Okay, I can
Yep.
do that.
Either that or you know me, I'll just keep going.
Yeah, I know that, but you got to stop when I do this or something. I don't know, but we're all good.
So let's have a conversation
All
about
right,
this.
that's
For,
good.
for, for one, we released out a website that everybody has access to that's on a $99 plan with us or higher. That's a one-page website. It's not a custom site. We do have the agency to where we can create a custom site for you if you're looking for that. But that one-page website is included on any plan that's $99 or higher. They can get access to the basics to be able to get themselves out there. So if any of our members have a $99 plan or need a website, it's a great starter plan to be able to get them out there and to be able to do it.
Okay.
That includes hosting, and we just take their basic information, put it onto the site. It's a one-page type of site.
How many changes can I make if I do that a month kind of thing?
I forget what we're at. I think we're put on there that they can make 20 changes a month.
I didn't know, but it's limited. It's not unlimited change.
It's
Yeah, that's
limited.
what I should say. There's a finite number, but
Yep.
but a lot of people don't just understand that they can't make millions of changes
No,
on there.
and
But it's basically a business card website, is what we call that. Is another name
correct.
for it. Okay.
It'll have the proper schema on there. It'll have access to a blog. They'll be able to log into the back end of WordPress. Technically, they could take it and grow it into what they wanted it to be if they wanted to and add more pages because they have access to that back end. But I mean, we're only going to support that one page and we'll make
Gotcha.
those changes. They don't have to learn any software or do that. We base it off of what their profile is and that data side because you have to remember we come from a data aspect and a data side of the house more than we come from the design aspect of the house.
Right. We need to make sure people realize too, and I might kind of throw this out there, is that this is really important. That information that's going to be necessary for building the whole structure for the listings engine, all the way through to give you that support you need for our for whatever the business needs. Correct.
Correct.
That has that content for the AI searches that are starting to happen out there.
And speaking of the AI searches, we have that new AI program for Google Business Profile. That's going to be called the Google Business Profile Boost. That's going to be like having an agent directly in your website or directly on your Google Business Profile. It's going to be where you have us as a coach. We're going to optimize it. It's going to pull information off your website. So if you're updating your blog, if you're updating your pages, and you're following all the practices of what that tree is and how our whole entire tree analogy goes from which is that listings engine down on that root base, your website, and then your canopy has blog, has social media. As long as you're doing all of those things that we're practicing, or at least some of those things, it's going to be able to actually take that content and it'll automatically do your updates. It'll automatically build your questions and answers, and it takes data from your competition and puts it into there. But that's going to give me an add-on of its own, and that's going to be called Google Business Profile Boost. And basically, it's just an AI that's going to automatically do everything for your Google Business Profile. Because I think a lot of people are still hung up on that Google Business Profile side.
Right. So it'll actually do input for questions and answers. Is that correct?
Correct.
We'll do updates as well. Correct.
It'll do updates. So when we programmed it out, it'll do all the updates. It'll technically, if we turned it on, it would technically reply to all of your reviews automatically. Our engineers built that out when we built it. And we have a couple really big agencies that are using that function for that piece. I personally disagree on that. So unless you tell me, hey, unless you tell us inside the chat, hey, you guys need to turn this on, I want that done, we're not going to do that.
Right, but right now you and I still are in agreement that reviews should be answered by the business
Yep.
themselves for best practices.
But if you want that turned on, even though we disagree with it, let us know. We can always turn it on. but it'll basically automate 100% of your Google Business Profile with an AI. And we train that AI for you based on that information.
Right, but so that means we have to be managers for your Google Business Profile, correct?
We have to be a manager for your Google
Right.
Business Profile. Have the listings engine at least to be able to do that add-on. And it depends on your business and how many locations you have. All these add-ons, you just have to contact us and say, hey, I'd love to be able to get it on my plan. What would it cost?
Okay.
Typically, the Google Business Profile add-on at the time of recording this is $99. Or $99 is an add-on.
Right. Perfect.
So,
Okay. All right.
then we have a ton of updates to the AI SEO Pixel. It's something we haven't talked about in a really long time. The AI SEO Pixel is where it goes through and automatically does all the SEO on your website. Our SEO experts train that AI to go in and work that pixel. You just have to put one set of code inside of your site, and we do all of the AI stuff behind the scenes. So it's going to optimize your schema. It's going to optimize your wording, your H1s, your H2s, all of your SEO site on there. And if you have any blogs, and that's based on the pricing and stuff is based on how many pages you have and what your goals are from it.
And they don't have to be hosting with us, correct?
Nope. Can work with any website
Perfect.
on any platform. We had somebody that wanted to use it that was using Front Page the other day, and it worked on it. I was shocked, but it'll literally work on any page,
Right.
on any builder.
So it doesn't have to be a WordPress
Nope.
at all, just because
Someone could have built it on Wix or GoDaddy, and it would still work just as fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's a good thing to know. And it's just how did they get that line of code? They just have to request it, correct?
Just have to request it. So
Okay.
when we give that over, when they sign up for it, we go through, we scan the website, we're able to look at all their stats and everything in there. If anybody's ever heard of SEM Rush, it's going to look almost like that in a way for those reports, but it's all built on our system for how it's going to have those. So we can see how many incoming links you have. We can see where you're ranking at for your keywords, and our engineers program that out based on that information for you.
Right. Now does this system do anything else besides just update the content, or does it create content? Or is it
If they are utilizing our service as of the blog writing service, then yes, we can create content for them. And
okay?
that'd be part of our custom plans that we had introduced. We had a lot of members that were saying, "Hey, I wish you guys just offered, website design, blogging, all these different tools." So we ended up merging with my old agency and kind of making all that happen. So I mean, there's a whole team that can do that if they're interested in doing that.
Okay, but that's different than the AI SEO Pixel. It's an additional.
But it can work together. It can work in
Right.
harmony
Okay.
together.
Okay.
Because I mean, you could have a mix of combinations of what you needed, and it could really optimize your stuff.
Okay. All right.
We also have the social media suite. Social media suite's still there. It's an add-on. We took it off of all of our plans, but I mean, it's there. That's where you can do all of your social media from one spot and don't have to log into each of the platforms. A lot of businesses are seeing a lot of value from that.
Right, and then they're allowed to do scheduling of their social media on that. Is that correct?
They can
And
schedule. It has AI writing in it, so it'll write your social media for you. Has all those different tools into it.
gotcha. And as far as anything else that we need to be aware of on that for the social media suite that you can think of right now that's
No, I
changed?
mean it's basically the same stuff it's been. There's no major updates on there, except for the AI's gotten smarter, and it knows a little bit more data points. But I mean, for general case, not really. I
Right,
mean, listings engine ended up getting a huge update last week to how we're doing some of the categories. So make sure you check your profile. Make sure you go through and make sure your information's correct. If you have not heard the news and you have not been watching any of our YouTube channels or any of that to keep up with us, we do work with over 1,000 different networks now. When we first started, we were at about 100, and now we're at over 1,000 total, depending on what your industry is. And we introduced the service area to where you can put your service in, and to where you can go through and operate the whole platform from there.
so is our service area restricted on the number of pieces, that a number of places? It's not like some of the other platforms out there that we're submitting to. They should prioritize those, right? So
Correct.
yeah, so if somebody has a limit of 8, one of the listings has 8, then you make sure your top 8 are, put them in the order that works best for you. Is that correct?
We don't have a limit, but some networks do. So
Right.
yes, you want to have your most important at the very top and work it down from most to least as you go down that
Right.
list.
I think a lot of people don't take full advantage of that right now.
No, but you have also some members that end up doing a lot. We have one member, I was in their profile reviewing it last week, and they put almost every single town inside of their state. And
Wow.
I was like, that's a lot of towns.
It is. Okay. All right.
I don't know how much time that took them, but that had to take some time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you have either the combination or not. But I mean, the biggest issue I'm seeing right now with members not getting the most out of it is they're not following the tree concept. They're not utilizing their information, or if they are, and getting the most out of their data. Would you agree on that? Are you seeing that on your side?
I am. I'm seeing that there's some things that they could be putting in information wise that they're choosing not to, which doesn't give them the full range for all the networks because different networks require different parameters. So fill it all in basically and get it all
Well,
filled out as much as possible.
so you're fine. So your business is full of a lot of data. And a lot of businesses aren't taking advantage of that data. So when I say business data, that's going to be your listings engine down in that bottom, that root base of your tree. And as it comes up, you have your website. Your website has data on it as well. So as we start to talk about updates like the AI mode for Google or the AI overview, or how many people are now finding you on Chat GPT and voice search and all these different pieces that make up the whole search ecosystem, it's relying on that website, it's relying on that root base, but it's also relying what's up here inside of your canopy. So your blog, your social media with sub branches out for each of those networks, your email marketing, your video marketing, whatever it is you're doing. And every business is unique in its own way. And we have to remember that at the end of the day. But it's one of those things to where you have to be utilizing that. And one of the biggest things I'm seeing people not do is they're not putting all the data in. They're not asking for a review from their coach. Or if they're using us as a marketing service, they're still not giving over that information that needs to be given over. Or if they're doing their own marketing, they're not doing it for themselves. So if you are a contractor, if you are a baker, or whoever you might be a chiropractor, you can utilize that information. So when you get done working with that patient, or you get bid that job, or you finish that job, you can record a video about it. You can speak to your AI assistant in voice terms. You can take a picture of your notes on it and have an AI translate it and write in all that information, those data points. Those are all data points about your business, to where you can then write your social media, you can write your blog, you can get all that information. If you're working with an agency, you can send that information over to them for them to be able to work with. If you're working with us with an agency, we then can take that information and it's your voice. Or if you're doing your own marketing, you can then take that information, write the blog, write the social media, and that can all be done with AI. That's best use of AI right now inside of the marketing world.
Gotcha. And you're talking about the root structure and the
Yeah.
tree and the canopy. What you see is the website and the canopy, the social media. What you don't see is the stuff underground, the roots. And that's the critical part that a lot of people don't understand. And that's what our listings engine really does well for you, is getting that information out as long as you're putting all of the data in correctly.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Because you got to remember, so when any of these algorithms, so no matter if we're talking about Google, if we're talking about Bing, if we're talking about Chat GPT, if we're talking about any of the AI modes that are out there, if we're even talking about voice search, it's all looking for the data. And you have to remember that some of the data it's pulling from is older. So you have to have it right today. So when it does come scan your website, it's going to get the most accurate information for its next run. You never know when those pieces are going to run through. So as you're building up your all of your content and stacking everything up, you have to make sure that you're doing that consistently. So that way it pays attention to you. So when that update happens, it's going to pull from there,
Okay, perfect.
because everything's all about that data and gathering it. So, for example, if you do roof repairs, and it's something you offer, if you're a roofer, since I always like to pick on that industry, and someone's up there and you don't talk about doing roof repairs anywhere on your website or blog multiple times, and someone goes and asks Chat GPT, they ask Alexa, or some voice search, or they type it into Google, if it doesn't know you offer those things, it's not going to know to even bring you up. And it's only going to bring up your competition because it doesn't know you do it.
Right. And so the other thing that you talked about roof repairs that's in your website or your social media, it also has to need to be in your keywords and your service products and services piece on our listings
Yep.
engine as well. That's where people I think lose the disconnect sometimes. I've seen that. I've coached some people on making sure that the content's the same.
Well, you have to make sure that information is the same. I mean, I see it all the time where that data is incorrect or it's mismatched or said about there. It's like your name being the wrong name multiple spots. You're going to confuse the algorithms for what that information is going to be worth. And that's why doing social media is important. That's why I think most social media should be done by the business owner, or it providing out if you're hiring an agency to do it. If we're the agency or not an agency, you got to make sure you provide the information they're using, say have something to talk about. Because with AI right now, everything is getting so diluted and so generic, and it's becoming spam like crazy. Because I mean, I could go into my AI right this second and I could tell it to write me 10,000 blogs. With our subscriptions we have and the amount of AIs we have, I could have that knocked out by this afternoon and already posted. Now,
Right.
does that mean that information is going to be quality? No, that does not mean it's going to be quality. But if you base it on the video content or the voice of you, if you're talking to any of his assistants and given that transcript or any of those pieces, and we have videos on all of that inside of our YouTube channel. And if you want to know what those are, contact us and we'll definitely send them over to you. Make sure you get the right direction. Or if we're missing one, I'll record another one on it. But it's one of those things to where you have to follow those processes. Anybody not following those processes, especially with this AI mode coming out, and I mean, it's already out for beta. I've predicted on a video, I'm not sure if it's been released or not yet, that it'll be before end of summer. That's going to be the new Google search. They're going to figure out how to get ads in it, and it's going to be how search happens. And search isn't static anymore. Used to be where, I mean, if we go back to the 90s, you put some meta keywords in, you put those pieces in, you ranked on a page, you were done. Now it's turned into dynamic. It used to be when a Google update would come out or a Bing update or a search update in general, it would come in and it would change your entire environment as a marketer. You learned the new system and you were good. Now people are interacting with those search results and it's dynamic. They're asking it, what are their average reviews? What are they? Are they a Better Business Bureau member? Are they this? Can they offer this? Here's my problem. Can they solve that problem for me? And they're finding local businesses this way and they're interacting with it. So if those AIs don't know about you or those algorithms don't know about you, you're going to be left behind.
Right. And that ties back into the fact that with the AI searches that are going to be coming out, as we're predicting, is that people aren't going to come to your website. And so your website traffic is going to look down, like it's not a downside, but the content is still important because that's where that's drawing that information from.
You know,
And
I think that's wrong to a point. We said that the other day, and I thought about that over the weekend as I
okay,
was going through stuff. I think website traffic is going to be down, but the quality of what is going to your website is going to go up.
oh, you mean the
Because
people that come to your website, it's going
the
to be
people that come to your
yeah,
website, they're going to be more interested than anybody else. You're
right.
going to get rid of a lot of those tire kickers
Well, that
because the AI is going to wipe them out.
Well, we've talked about that forever. That it's not the amount of traffic or likes or whatever; it's the amount of sales that you close. And
Right.
so if the quality gets better and they're more apt to make the sale with you or close with you, that's a better outcome for you. Is that
Well, it's 100% a better outcome because it's about the quality being better. Because the more you sell, the better off you are. The least amount of money you have to put towards it. You don't want to have to spend a ton on ads. I don't want to see anybody having to spend a ton of money on marketing, even though we make money off of people buying tools. We want to make it as simple as you possibly can. But I mean, as we're talking about things that people, the way marketing has changed and where some business owners really lack out on, they're not using the coaching staff as, the coaching tools as much as they should be. I mean, we don't get as many coaching requests as should be getting inside. Um, if someone's trying to sell you a marketing tool, ask us our opinion. If it's not working, because I think a lot of businesses are stuck in that whole entire piece where You know your business could be doing better, but you don't know where to start. And the
Right.
coach and us as coaches can help you be able to figure out what it is that's missing and how you need to put there. If it's something we offer or if it's something that we'd recommend somebody else for, a tool for, we can give you some insights on that to be able to make a better decision. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, and I totally agree with that because one of the things that happened. My analogy is you may be the world's greatest basketball player or world's best football player, but you may not be able to see something that's that close. So that's why you need somebody to look in from the outside to say, "Well, consider this," because sometimes you don't see it because you're right there in the middle of the action, and you just need somebody to say, "Here's a better approach" or something to think about, and you may adopt it or you may not adopt it. It's up to you.
Correct. I agree. I agree with that 100%. So we talked about most of our updates. We talked about social. We talked about the Google Business Profile post. We talked about the AI SEO Pixel. Um, we talked about service area. That is pretty much the updates. I mean, if we're seeing a lot of members really kind of go up, we're seeing a lot of case studies for the data side, but we really rely on everybody's feedback on how things are going. I
Exactly.
mean, and you got to remember this is the long term play, and we do everything organic. So you don't just turn it on today and it's boom going to be working for you tomorrow. Yeah,
Right.
we see that some people, but I mean,
Mostly not.
most not. Most of it
Right.
say it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get started, if not 90 days to see some consistency on. I mean,
Exactly.
it's being patient and going through and building something that's going to be meaningful and lastful that is going to be able to survive any update that happens out there or any new tools. This is stuff that's going to be building out your pillars. And you got those 3 pillars that are inside there. You have content, you have authority, and trust. Well, you got to produce your content. I mean, I'm not talking a lot of work to be able to get that done.
Right.
For you to go through and do the video, that's going to take you less than probably 5 minutes. And I mean, it
Yep.
doesn't have to be anything long. It doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Right.
You just got to do it because relying on somebody else to know your business as well as you do is not the way to go. You're not going to get the results you're looking for.
Right. And just to be discuss the video, you don't have to do the video. You can do a dictation to your notes and get a transcript that way.
Yep.
It may not be as good, but at least it's better than nothing. But it's in
You can
your
talk to
word.
Grok. You can talk to Chat GPT.
Right.
You can talk
Right.
to the free ones
Exactly. Right.
and be like,
Exactly.
hey, I did this job in this location. Here was the customer's problem, and here's how we were going to solve it, and here was my recommendations. Boom, done.
Right. I mean,
If you're a baker, I baked a cake. It was for this kind of occasion, and this is what we did. This is what kind of style the cake was. It was chocolate. It was vanilla. It was blah blah. Whatever it might be. Or if you're a chiropractor, it might be whatever patient you just served. But you're not going to say the patient name because of HIPAA. But you can talk about the problems you solve because
right.
that's where you're going to get your sales from.
Right. Because not everybody wants to be in front of the camera. Like I
No,
you have a hard time getting me in front of the camera, kind of
no.
thing. But I like to talk. I like to write, and so you don't have to be in front of the camera. But that's a good way to get yourself out there and let people see you, especially if you're the face of your business.
Well, you got to remember, YouTube is the number one search engine right now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So
It took over. It's number one now.
it's
Right.
I'm seeing from the data I'm seeing, it's number one for most local businesses.
Right. And it's be,
And I think Chat GPT and I think AIs, especially with Google's new AI mode that's going to be coming out or that's already out, um, it's going to take over. And if it AIs love video because they can see the transcripts.
oh, okay. I did not realize that
Yeah.
they like that part of it. So
I mean, you got to remember everything is in that harmony. That's everything connects. There's a lot of people who do design really good inside of marketing. There's a lot of people who do all these specific things, but everybody seems to forget, for the most part, the connection and the harmony of how that canopy works. It takes that whole entire tree analogy to be able to make your business be able to survive and thrive.
okay, perfect. Is there anything
And
else we need to cover?
I think that's absolutely everything. Make sure that you're watching our huddle. We were putting out 5 posts per week for the huddle for well since January. You and I are taking kind of a sabbatical and have enough content to where we're not going to be putting that much out over the summer for a new pod. So we're only going to go to 2 huddles per week. But we put out a lot of videos. We put out a lot of stuff. If you want to learn how to grow your business even if you can't afford our software or our tools, watch our YouTube channel. It's all there. And if you get value from that and whatsoever, buy us a cup of coffee. We have a whole link for it. It's going to be on the bottom of our website. But I mean, it's one of those things to where our entire process for being able to start Simply Be Found was to give back to the small business owner and tools that they could actually use and understand.
Perfect. All right. And I can't think of anything else that we're ready to talk about at this
Awesome.
point.
Thank you so much. And if you're a member already, thank you so much. If you haven't already, if you're not a member, we look forward to talking to you. Dean and I handle 100% of the chats that come through on the website. Come by, say hi to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. Thanks.
And check us out, simplybefound.com. If you are just watching this video somewhere out there that you don't know where to find us, you can find us there. Thanks and have a great day.
Thank you.